I recently spoke to someone who said something interesting to me. This person said that he would drive to work and look into other people's car and thinking they must have a much better life than he did in the way of stress, because his job was extremely stressful. And it made me laugh, because I used to think the same way. I used to think, oh man, look at that person over there. They must be driving home or wherever they're going, and they must be so happy, no stress, no nothing. And I think what we have to realize is that that's not true, and everyone out there is living with pain, is the way I like to describe it. Everyone has something going on in their life that they have some sort of pain about, whether it's a relationship, whether it's stress at work, whether it could be the color of their skin, whether it's the way that they write. I had some people make fun of me for the way I write, whether it's the way that you walk, whether maybe you can't have children, some stuff that's a little bit more up there than writing. But what I'm saying is that nothing should be minimized. Everybody has something that causes them pain, whether it's family, whether it's if you're worried about how you're going to take care of your kids, how you're going to give them a good education, or are you going to be able to provide for them in the next 5-10 years. Anything like that, I like to call it as that causes you pain. And I think we need to realize that you're not the only one that's living with pain. Everybody is. And the only way that you're going to be able to see other people's pain is if you deal with your own. And the best way that I have found to do that, and it's going to sound funny, but is what I like to call, I guess, brainstorming. So I would sort of like sit somewhere, in a quiet room or somewhere that you're not going to be disturbed for about an hour or so, and just brainstorm. You have to first figure out what it is in your life that is causing you pain, that is like, stressing you out, whichever, that is, keeping you up at night. Once you figure out what it is, then you can start working on a solution. And the only way to work to find a solution is if you work to find one. So that's why I like to call it brainstorming. So for my issues, I would just simply sit there and then keep asking, okay, what's the problem? What is going on with this problem? How can I fix it? What can I do? For everybody, it might be something completely different. Maybe you need to find a new job, or maybe you just need to start doing yoga. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you just don't know. But the thing is that I can't give you your solution. You have to find it, and the way to do that is through brainstorming. For me, one of the best things I was able to find is some stuff is out of my control. Some stuff you can't control everything, obviously. Some stuff's out of my control, so I'm not gonna be stressed out about that. But other things are, and so I've been trying to change that. I've been trying to find other ways to do things that I like to do. Like, this is something that I like to do that brings me joy. I don't know, just speaking. Maybe this is another way of me brainstorming. But this is one of my ways to let out that stress or deal with that pain, because this lets me work through it, and then you get over it, and that's it. So I guess the end of the of the whole thing is that you need to do a brainstorming session to figure out what it is that is bothering you, try to find a solution, and then realize that once you find that solution, you're going to maybe be able to help someone out there and tell them that they need to do some brainstorming. And once you realize that everybody's dealing with this, maybe you also might treat other people a little bit nicer, because you realize that they're also in difficult situations, maybe much more difficult than yours. So I guess my whole point was that you need to brainstorm, find your own pain, deal with it, and then realize that the world is in pain, And that way we might treat each other just a little bit better, so that one day maybe we can lessen that pain.